Okay, I was debating whether he's going to hold a pumpkin or not, and I think I will do that. So, but I also realized the hat isn't anywhere where I want it to be yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray the top here a little bit. Alright, and I'm just going to go in right from the edge here about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to go where I have it marked there and just kind of scoop it out a little bit. Okay. You can, if you want, you can put a stop cut in. That might be a better idea than just trying to. I put a line all the way around about, maybe 1/4 of an inch or so. So I definitely want a look of the hat being on top, you know, having a lip to it. So this is the only way I figured it would work the way I wanted it to. So it's like doing a huge wide V cut all the way around. Alright, like I said, I haven't done one of these before, so I'm kind of looking at some pictures and deciding what needed to be done. Now that top's going to get a little bit smaller, but that's okay. It will give it the effect that I need, and it doesn't matter if it's a little bit on the wavy side. It really does not matter. Alright, you have to be mindful how the grain is running. Okay, that's a little better. That looks a little more like the hat I wanted it to look like. A little bit of a tightness at the base here, like it's wrapped around the head a little bit. And alright, just like so. That worked out good. Just going to trim this out a little bit. Alright. Alright. We might put a little ribbon at the top. We can do a lot of detail to it if you want. The clothing will be a lot of fun to do on one of these. If you do a little bit larger than what I have, you'll be able to put more detail into the Scarecrow itself. And again, you can make that hat a little pointier than it is, but that's entirely up to you. So I'm pretty happy with the way the hat is right now. That makes me feel a little bit better of changing that around. And sometimes, folks, when something doesn't look right, you go back and you redo it, or you switch it around, or you take your time, look at a few pictures that might help you determine what you need to do different with the head or the face. The next thing I'm going to do, since we're on the head, I want to kind of finish that up a little bit first before we go further. I use these Stockyard gouges and V-tools. They are wonderful. So I'm going to use a V-tool, and we're going to round this up just a tad yet. Okay, we're going to have it going underneath here, and that's all well and good. But what we're going to do here, we're going to go up here and we're going to take care of, let's see if I can get this in focus for you folks. We're going to take the V-tool and you're going to rest your thumb. Okay, when you work with these V-tools, I'm going to just take another. It's very important that you put your thumb against your carving, and then what you're going to do is you're going to be moving it with the top part of your hand. Okay, when I do this, I'm going to be moving it with the top part of my hand, and that way I'm not pushing it all over the place. I'm not pushing it with all my might with my hand, because I have my thumb as a stopper. Okay, so that works out really, really well for me. So when I go ahead and I carve, you know, I kind of just use my hand to guide it, and this kind of pushing it along. But you notice I have full control over that gouge. Alright, so that's very important to use your thumb as a stopper because it will not go any further than what your thumb is. If you're doing this, you're going to be pushing it all over the place. Alright, so let's go back to this and see if we can put some of those big strands of straw. And I'll show you a couple of other little things I'm going to do. I'm going to round this off just a tad because I want that to go. Alright. Just to give me a better idea what this is going to look like. And it'll be fun to go ahead and paint this later on. Alright, I have this going in different directions and all that. So that's kind of the look you want. And then same thing here, you're going to go straight up. There is no wiggly lines with straw. We used to have hay and straw here at the farm, and we do occasionally yet. But it's straight up and down. And then I turn it around to do the very end part because that's going to be important, trying to get those little gouge marks out so it looks like it's. See how I'm going in a little bit? An uneven surface there. There we go. Alright, so you see how we have this going around for the Scarecrow. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is this nose is not quite what I want it to be, so I'm going to bring this down just a tad. And bring this up. So we definitely have a good straight nose. Alright, so there's the nose. I'm happy with that so far. And then we're going to put we're going to make sure that's definitely marked off right. We're just going to put a little V cut there. So, okay, and the other thing is when you do this, just take your time. You know, there's no rush with this stuff, really. Learn to enjoy the process. Okay. So there's our little face so far on the Scarecrow. And we have the hair coming down, and the same thing here when we get this rounded up a little further off. I just want to do the front to give me an idea. And I think it might be important to go under here and just undercut just a little bit. Just to give that a little bit more, that it sticks out just a tad more. Because the straw is straight across usually, okay? It's usually straight across. There we go. Definitely give it some depth to it and all. Alright? So that's what we have there. Alright? So, and the mouth is going to be pretty simple. It's not going to be real complicated because of the nature of the face. Usually it's just a rounded face. You want to make it look more human, you can. Some people do a pumpkin head, you know, for the Scarecrow itself. That's also fine. There's really no right or wrong way. I'm going to bring this up a little bit.